Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, November 15th, and welcome to CVHP News. I'm Sonora Scott. First up, here's a look at what we're working on today at KLST and KSAN. It's National Adoption Day, and there's a special ceremony happening right now at Southland Baptist Church. We'll have that story for you later. And it's Friday, so our sports team will be out and about bringing you all the updates. Now, let's start with some good news. The Boys and Girls Club got a facelift from some local volunteers. They spent all day painting and refurbishing parts of the building. Now to some state news. State Representative Pancho Narvaez is facing a felony drug charge. The Eagle Pass Democrat admitted he decided not to seek re-election because he was caught on surveillance footage dropping an envelope full of cocaine. Our sister station got the story.
A revelation just days after State Representative Pancho Narvaez announced he would not run for a fifth term in the Texas House. The details are in a Department of Public Safety affidavit for a search warrant filed in Travis County. While Narvaez was getting picked up at Austin's airport in early September after arriving on a plane owned by his law group, he dropped a sealed envelope. A Department of Transportation worker found it. According to the responding DPS special agent, the envelope had his letterhead on it, and inside, cocaine. Narvaez admits he has an addiction. In a statement, he says, "I do not have anyone to blame but myself. In a weird way, I am grateful. Grief and addiction were consuming me."
The first step is really saying, I've got this problem and I need to go and get some help for it.
Laura Sovine leads Austin Recovery.
Once a disorder has become to the point of lying and hiding, it means that the severity is pretty intense and that this is probably happening often. This is probably happening in places that it shouldn't be happening. And then the stakes get higher and higher. And of course, if you have a public persona and you are in a trusted office, the stakes get even higher.
Sovine says talking about health concerns helps shed the shroud of embarrassment that some people feel.
The more we talk about it, the better it is, because the more safe people feel to say it out loud. The more that someone can say out loud, this is a problem for me, the less shame there is around it, the more likely someone is able to access treatment.
You can find that story and more on our website, ConchoValleyHomepage.com. Here's what else you can see. The latest on the impeachment hearings, stories and updates from the Texas-Mexico border, and of course, weather and sports. And speaking of the weather, let's check in with Jay Martin, who's got the latest. Good morning, Jay.
Well, another cold start. I know we're getting tired of hearing about all these cold temperatures, but hey, there's some hope on the horizon. We're going to be getting into the 60s as we go into today, 64 for a lot of us, but then again, another cold day out there, mid-30s for the evening and the start of your Saturday. But then the weekend, looking pretty nice. Plenty of sunshine and 60s, 67 Saturday, same for Sunday, even as we go through it. And then what are you expecting for the rest of the week? Well, you did say you didn't want any more cold weather, so I'm getting you some 70s coming up. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday even. We're seeing 78, a possible of an 80 coming through on Wednesday. Yes, we do have the possibility of that. So it's slowly going to be warming up, giving us a nice weekend and a nice week coming up.
All right, thanks, Jay. And now we're joined by special guest Lily Mata. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now she's with the Rainbow Room, and let's just start there. What is the Rainbow Room?
So the Rainbow Room is an emergency resource room. It's designed to assist abused and neglected children within the first 48 hours of being removed from home. It also assists to help avoid a removal, which is something that we, of course, always try to do, and also if a child is in any type of a crisis situation. So we have close to 200 nonprofits here in San Angelo. We utilize and we love and need all of them. However, the reason that the Rainbow Room was created is one of the dilemmas that our caseworkers had is, what if we have a child that has a need Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 2 a.m., Monday when it's Veterans Day? So the Rainbow Room was created just as that temporary Band-Aid until the children could get services elsewhere. And the awesome thing about the Rainbow Room, it's community funded, completely community funded. It's volunteer driven, and it is available to CPS caseworkers 24/7.
Wow, that is amazing. So people can donate things.
Yes. Yes.
You need donations.
We need donations, yes. And we've had a lot of people reach out recently because Christmas is coming up, and we're just really happy about that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so speaking of Christmas, y'all are doing your annual tree.
Yes, so this is our second annual Hope for the Holidays tree. So the ornament looks like this. And so This will be placed in 2 different locations, Bells at Sunset Mall and Fancy Pants Children's Boutique. And so the community can go and just choose an ornament, whichever one that they would like. Each ornament will have the child's name, their age, and then their wish list. And of course, these are just suggestions. You're welcome to get anything that you would like for the child. On the back, it will have directions as to where to drop them off. It will be the same place that you pick them up at Bells from Sunset Mall or Fancy Pants Children's Boutique. So last year, the community united and 200 children were helped. 200.
Wow.
Yes, and so this is for CPS children. What that means in this case, these are children still living at home. However, they are currently under CPS supervision and have been identified as being in need by their CPS caseworker. For a lot of these children, this is their Christmas. And it's one of our way of trying to give them hope through this process, as well as letting them know that Santa did not forget about them.
Yeah. And some of those requests, I was I did a story on this last year, and I was looking at the cards, and they were like, sometimes simple things.
Yes.
Just very simple things.
One of the requests that stood out to me, this one girl, a teenager, she just wanted a double-sided mirror. And so I was like, oh, and that was her big request for Christmas.
Yeah.
And some other children, it was just as simple, just a Barbie doll. That's all that they wanted was a Barbie doll. Yeah.
Yeah. And some just wanted new shoes.
Exactly. Yes. So for the children that we help, sometimes what we think when we're asking them for a wish list, for them, it's just a basic necessity that they need.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So when are these trees going to go up?
So it will begin November 25th, and then the deadline will be December 13th.
Okay.
And December 13th, that way we have enough time to get them back to the CPS office. We can distribute them to the families, and then the children will actually be opening these gifts on Christmas Day.
That's so neat. Yeah, if you're looking for a way to help out this Christmas, that's a great way.
Yes.
And it's local. The Rainbow Room, it's all local.
Yes, it covers the Concho Valley. So all 13 counties of the Concho Valley. Yeah. And again, and I know I always mention this, but it is completely community funded. And I love saying that. We can't always control what goes on in someone's home, but what we can do is ensure that as a community, we have come together and we have said, these are not state children. They are community children. They're our children. So we will let them know that regardless of what goes on, they will be okay. We will take care of them.
Yeah. And I love that part of one of the aspects of it, you mentioned it briefly earlier, is you try to prevent removals.
Yes.
So you've got supplies there if parents need, like car seats, and if you could elaborate on that.
Yes, so I'll give a recent story. This was probably 3 weeks ago. We had a newborn baby in the hospital with mom, and they were able to be discharged. However, due to some concerns, CPS got involved, and one of the things that's very important is safe sleep. And so the caseworker said, okay, let us know where the baby's going to sleep. And so after some going back and forth, the parents finally told us, well, we do actually have a crib, but it's missing. And when we saw it, it was missing some essential hardware pieces.
Oh, okay.
And of course, that's really dangerous for the baby. So this was after hours. It was actually on a Sunday. They were able to go into the CPS Rainbow Room, and then they were able to get a pack and play of the bassinet kind, and then provide it to the mom that day. And so the baby was able to go home with mom and sleep by mom.
Yeah.
So that was a happy story. Yes.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and that's what we want, right? Or
Yes.
the happy stories.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, and sometimes some of the parents, they just need that little help. And so it's not always about a removal. Sometimes they do need that extra help. So if we can help supervise and keep the children in the home, that's a great thing. That's a good day.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm sure you get a lot of misconceptions, CPS workers, they're just, kind of out to get, people, but you'll actually try to prevent that from even happening.
Yes, yeah, and I was a previous caseworker for several years. I think that's where my passion comes in the Rainbow Room, because I remember having that need, and I remember having a thought, like, if the community knew that they could help. Well, now through the Rainbow Room, the community, you can partner with CPS. And when I say that you can partner, this has been happening this year. We have helped more children than ever before. We have more resources than before. Yeah. So because of the community, we have been able to assist the children even better.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Yeah, y'all have a Facebook page, the Rainbow Room, and y'all post all the time about such good things.
Yes, and so whenever people donate to the Rainbow Room, we just get so excited, and we want you to know how your funds are being used, how your donations are being used. So every once in a while, we will place a story, of course, within the confidentiality means. We'll place a story, or recently we were able to go and purchase some sweatpants, some sweatshirts, with funds that we received throughout the year, as well as from some Angelo Gives. And so whenever we went to the store, we also get giddy. We get excited. We're like, oh, what colors are they going to like? We're so excited because they can go into the room, get these items that they need. If for some reason there's just a child that maybe needs something that is not in the room, well, now we have funds where we can get those items to that child already. And that was even yesterday. So sometimes when children stay in the office, for whatever reason, if they're going to be there for a little while, then we also will sometimes just we'll take them out to eat, and that's not a common thing, but maybe there's a child that is going to be there overnight for whatever reason, and so we can take them out to just to get them out of the office for a little bit. And so recently we had a story, an email from one of our supervisors. She sent it to the whole office, and she said that there was a child that had stayed there that day, and he had told the supervisor, he thanked her because he said, I actually felt like this was home, and at the CPS office. You know? And this was a teenager that has, had some issues with running away. So the fact that he said that he felt like home and that he liked the conversations that he had, it was just something we're like, wow, we were able to just to assist the children better. Give them a better experience.
Yeah, and if you've never been to the Rainbow Room, or if you've never seen some of the pictures, it does feel homey because you walk in. It's bright, it's colorful. It's more like a store. You know, they go in and they shop for those clothes.
And everything is free to the children. I love telling the children when they walk in there, you can get anything you want, because you see that they get excited for that moment. And we do see a difference, because whenever children go in there, when we say that, I have not experienced, and not that they won't, because they are children, they're allowed to be children, but I have not experienced a child ask for more or say, hey, can I get this in that they literally would just wait until we suggest items. And that's something sad, but this was earlier this year. We had a 4-year-old, and her only request in the Rainbow Room was a toothbrush, and this was while she was standing right in front of the toy section. Wow. And I remember I was like, don't choke up, because we're in front of the toy section, and I was wondering, like, what is she going to get, the Barbie? And she barely glanced at the shelf, and she looked at me and she said, do I get a toothbrush? Those were her exact words. And I said, of course she can get a toothbrush. So she got her toothbrush that day. Wow. A 4-year-old, yes.
4 years old, and that's all she wanted.
Yes,
in
and
front
this
of all
is in
those
the
toys.
Concho Valley. So as much as, we might not see it, and maybe, some of the children might not be like, hey, I don't have a toothbrush, or whatever the reason. It does happen, in our community. But like I said, what I love knowing is that through this room, we give the children hope. And it gives even me hope as an adult to know that, again, we can't control everything that happens, but we can let these children know that they matter, because they do matter and they're worth it.
Yes, definitely. If nothing else, we want them to know that. Well, you actually have some news, some breaking news exclusive here. You heard it here first.
Yes, this is the first time we're announcing this. So, of course, we will be asking our awesome community to partner with us on this next goal. So in the spring, the Rainbow Room Board, we will start talking about how can we redo the 4 parent-child visitation rooms in the CPS office. And what are these visitation rooms? It is the rooms that the parents have their court-ordered visitations with the children. So these, like the wall paintings, have been the same for over 10 years. And that includes furniture, and also the toys. Like when we go in there and you clean them, you're almost like, did I clean that one, or did I, And so it's time to redo the visitation rooms, just to give it a new enlightened look, a fresh look for the children.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how can people get involved either with that project or, now? How can they get involved?
So there are 2 ways that you can reach out to us. So the first one would be to go to Rainbow Room-Concho Valley. So there are probably about 190 Rainbow Rooms in Texas. So if you put Rainbow Room-Concho Valley, it'll let you know that it's the one for the Concho Valley. And then secondly, if anyone wants to call 325-262-3308, again 325-262-3308, we would love to answer any questions about how they can help. I can give some suggestions about possible item drives that they can do. It can be within an organization, or it can even be between family and friends. We get that as well. And we have a general wish list that we give if people ask for it, but sometimes people call and say, okay, I know you have this general wish list. However, what are your top 5 items that you need at this time? Like, for instance, if somebody was to call now, we need some snacks, juices. Those are comfort for the children. Some towels, body wash, and some men's or boy deodorant. And so if they call, then I can also narrow that in for them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because your needs will vary, from season to season, I'm sure.
And then there's 2 drop-off locations. So the CPS office, people are welcome to drop it off Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and also Oliver, Rainey, and Wotek. It's an accounting business here, and it's at the Bank of America on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
So they're able to drop it off at either of the 2 locations, and that's for their convenience. However, if somebody would like to look at the Rainbow Room, because again, this is the community room. This room belongs to the community. So if somebody's like, hey, I would like to know how my donations are being used, if they contact us again at that number that I provided or the Rainbow Room, then I can set up a schedule, and I love to show it to people.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. It definitely puts things in perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, thank you so much, Lily, for joining us. Do you have anything else?
I was
final
making
message?
sure I covered.
Yeah.
Well, again, even when the people go into a room, I always tell them I don't want them to leave sad. You know? So one of the things is our community has united. I love that we have been able to let the children know, again, that they matter, they're not alone, and that we care for them. And so that's the message that they will have. You won't always remember the names of the people that you meet, or even the people that you meet, but you will remember the feeling that they gave you.
Yes.
So whenever CPS is involved, for whatever the reason, not necessarily just because of CPS, but there's a reason something's going on at home. So these children will likely remember this for the rest of their lives. So we can kind of change the narrative and let them know that during this time they mattered. They didn't have to come and ask somebody for undergarments. We just provided them to them, when they need them. Then that will drastically change the way that they remember this time, and that makes the difference.
Yes, definitely. And gives them confidence as well to face other, hardships along the way.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and all that information will, of course, be on our website, so we'll post it there. And thank you all for joining us for CVHP News. Don't forget to follow us on social media and download our free app. All you got to do is search Concho Valley Homepage in your app store. And we want to hear from you. What do you want to see on this show? You can let us know by sending us a message or giving us a call. So that's all for right now. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.